What happens when America's most respected journalist faces off with the royal family's most polarizing export? The lights in CNN's studio were warm, polished, and deceivingly calm. But underneath the carefully choreographed set lay a tension so sharp you could feel it in the air. Anderson Cooper sat composed, cue cards aligned in military precision. Across from him sat Meghan Markle, smiling, immaculate, radiating the confidence of someone who believed she could outcharm the world. The opening was polite. Anderson's voice was smooth as glass. "Meghan, thank you for joining us." "Of course," she answered sweetly, but her words carried an unmistakable edge. "It's always refreshing to sit with a real journalist." The audience behind the cameras shifted in their seats. The sting was subtle but pointed. Anderson didn't flinch. "Let's start simple. How are you and Harry doing?" For the briefest second, Meghan's smile froze. Then she leaned back, crossing her legs with practiced ease. "We're thriving, stronger than ever, though the tabloids would love people to believe otherwise." Anderson's eyes stayed steady. "Some say there's tension, that Harry struggles with the distance from his family." That Meghan cut him off with brittle laughter. "Rumors? Really, Anderson? I expected better." The audience stiffened. Meghan's dismissal wasn't just sharp, it was condescending. Anderson, however, didn't raise his voice. He let the silence stretch, his calm more powerful than anger. "Public interest often lies in how you both are adjusting," he pressed. "Isn't it fair to ask?" Meghan's charm began to slip. "We don't adjust. We lead. We make choices that serve our truth. If people can't handle that, that's their problem." The line was rehearsed, confident, but the energy in the room shifted. This wasn't going to be a conversation. It was going to be combat. Anderson leaned forward slightly, his voice carrying the calm weight of a man who had dismantled presidents and CEOs. "You've spoken about pain inside the royal family. Feeling unsupported, silenced, yet since stepping away, you've built podcasts, documentaries, book deals. Critics argue you've profited from the very institution you condemn. What would you say to them?" Meghan's lips curved into a cold smile. "I'd say they should walk a mile in my shoes before making uninformed judgments. I don't apologize for surviving. I don't apologize for making a living after being cut off." Her tone was sharp, louder now, her voice filling the studio with defiance. The audience stirred again. Anderson stayed unmoved. "But you weren't destitute, Meghan. You had a career. Harry had wealth. The narrative of financial struggle doesn't align with reality. How do you reconcile that?" Her eyes flashed. "Perception. That's the problem, isn't it? Everyone thinks they're entitled to pick apart our lives like theater critics. They don't know the truth. They don't know what we sacrificed." Anderson's question landed like a hammer. "What exactly did you sacrifice?" The air thickened. Meghan faltered for the first time, her answer slower, less polished. "Privacy, peace, the right to live without being dissected daily." Anderson nodded slowly, steel in his gaze. "Yet here you are, sitting before millions, telling your story on your terms. Does that not contradict the desire for privacy?" Meghan bristled. "It's not contradiction. It's control. We decide what to share." Anderson's calm reply cut deeper than any shout. "But public figures can't demand privacy and command the spotlight without scrutiny. That's not how accountability works." Her voice dripped disdain now. "Balance? You sit there with the same smug authority as every man who's tried to diminish me." Anderson leaned forward, unshaken. "I'm not diminishing you, Meghan. I'm holding you accountable." The crowd gasped. Meghan's mask of charm was gone. By now, the atmosphere was electric. Cameras captured every flicker of tension. Meghan's hands tightened in her lap, her polished exterior cracking. Anderson shuffled his notes deliberately, though he didn't need them. He already knew the next strike. "Let's talk about Harry," he said evenly. He lost his military roles, his connection with his family, his place in Britain. Since your marriage, those ties have eroded. Has your relationship cost him more than it's given him?" Meghan's jaw clenched. "That's insulting. Harry gained freedom. He gained love. He gained me." Anderson's gaze was unrelenting. And in exchange, he lost his family, his country's affection, his titles. Was that trade worth it? Meghan's laugh was sharp, humorless. You sound like one of those bitter royalists who think the crown is sacred. Let me remind you, this isn't the 18th century. Harry doesn't need to bow to anyone. Murmurs swept the audience. Anderson didn't blink. Meghan, without Harry, would you be sitting here? Would Netflix or publishing houses have come calling? Or is your influence borrowed from the crown you condemn? The blow landed. Meghan's smile dissolved. Her lips trembled before she snapped, "You don't get to decide my worth." Anderson's final words were calm, devastating. "I don't need to decide it. The world is watching, and they see the contradictions." The silence was crushing. Meghan's eyes glistened with anger, perhaps even fear. Her breath hitched as Anderson placed his pen neatly on the desk. Then he looked at the camera, voice crisp as a verdict. "This interview is over." The studio lights cut. Meghan Markle, visibly shaken, was escorted off set. The audience sat frozen. Millions watching at home knew they had just witnessed not an interview, but a reckoning.